What's up, brother? First time on Zoom?
What's going on? Sorry, I'm all muted.
I know. It's the first time for this guy over here, huh?
I know. I was like, what? Why is he not saying anything? I said hi. What's up, though? How you doing?
Good. I'm good. I see Jen is connecting now, so we just did a coaching call actually. So she missed Monday, but she'll be on today. We had 21 on Monday, so
That's good.
be consistent.
Solid considering we just, 36 36-12-3 wasn't that long ago,
Yep, exactly. I'm very happy. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's been crazy, like between the awards and then and Ignite, and last night we had the school, and then I have participants coming in to take their tests. They don't come in, I do the classes live on Zoom, but they come into the market center to take their cert tests.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, it's been crazy getting ready for everything, but I'm excited. It should be a good day. But I am anticipating
what's the plan for the awards? Like, what's going on?
Awards are at 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the plan for all that?
So we have, we've got myself, Sandra, and Tina rotating different parts of the awards.
Okay.
Josh is coming in at 1. He is coming. Yeah.
Good.
We have the TV set up with the camera, so it'll be on Zoom for those that don't make it. We have a step and repeat that will be behind us where we'll be presenting the awards. For those that are actually going to be here as well, we can hand them their awards at that point.
Yep.
So, we're just kind of, honestly, like, after I'm done with this, I have to go sit with them and get a huddle going in, because it's been back to back to back. I even haven't had a chance to even sit with them and go over all of it, but more or less, That's what it looks like. It should be good, though.
What kind of attendance do you think is coming?
I think we'll have at least 15 to 20.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would think for sure.
For sure. And then a lot, we are giving the Zoom option, so sometimes it is a kind of a way out. But I mean, you can't not do it right now. So,
sure.
So there's that. But it should be good. We got some music we'll be playing, while we announce the names and all that fun stuff. So
cool.
Yeah,
man, I'll be there.
Did Long Beach do theirs?
They didn't do a live event. I know Tina's really pushing for this. I don't, I don't even know if it's the best idea or not right now, but still, Long Beach just did a series of videos, and they met, all the award winners of various places in Long Beach that are kind of iconic, and then, handed the awards out, had Dom film it, and then we cut together a video, and we just got the video, the 1 minute, the quick video yesterday, and then we're doing a bigger, longer one that we'll try to get everybody together for, probably on Zoom, and play it and let people kind of see themselves and say their thank yous and stuff.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good way to do it.
And then La Mirada's is at 4 today, right afterwards.
Yeah. Should be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think one of the most interesting part is that like, they put a really solid structure. I mean, we have color codes, and I'm all like, all right, you guys got to fill me in on all this stuff.
Yeah, like a script over there, man.
That's what I mean by, like, after Ignite, I definitely got to go and huddle with them, because they got a whole thing planned out.
No doubt, man.
And they got they got those little boxes. I don't know, what are they called? Kachera boxes? What are they called?
I have no idea.
They have, like, the little meat and cheese and.
Oh, the charcuterie.
The
Christine make them? Did you make those?
Yeah, I think they ordered some.
Okay.
They ordered some, so I don't know. Should be good, though.
It will be.
Yeah. Our step and repeat's really nice.
Yep.
We'll get to see it today.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's so funny. We're having our conversation here. It's all recorded. One day somebody's going to hit the archives 15 years from now. I'm like, what are these guys talking about?
In Long Beach, we have Omar edit someone before he uploads them to their YouTube. So hopefully someone there will do the same.
Oh, okay. In Long Beach, they did that on all our, okay.
All the trainings, Omar will go in and, just cut everything that is, the very intro and the very end. If there's any like loose stuff, it doesn't need to be, part of the class.
That's cool. That's awesome. So moving forward, we'll be on the La Mirada Zoom.
For this go around, yeah, Long Beach had some conflicts, but I can get you the logins for this one, so you can grab, whoever, Juliana or somebody wants to download all of the videos to do.
I think I have the login for this one, which I feel more comfortable with, because with the Long Beach one, I was like, uh-oh, I couldn't get in. I didn't have but I did used to try to jump on at 9:30 and it would say session is in place. I think you guys there were meetings going on.
Yeah, I think that was the problem.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
No worries.
Cool. All right, I see a few people jumping on. I just made you the co-host, so I will pop out for a few minutes, and then a few minutes after 10, I'll start dropping the manuals and stuff in there for you.
All right, cool. Appreciate that.
You got it.
All right, my man.
Haley.
How's it going, Haley? Brendan, Jennifer.
Hi. How are you?
Hi there.
Good morning.
How you guys
That's why I'm
doing?
on mute.
It's all good. You guys been in the business long?
No, I'm brand new actually. Just graduated college in December and then passed my real estate exam in February.
Fantastic. How long have you, what office are you with, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm with the Long Beach office.
Oh, okay. Great office. Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Haley? What office are you with?
Same.
Long Beach.
Yeah, Long Beach, Pacific
Cool.
Estates. Yeah.
I'm over here in Cerritos, just so you guys know.
I live in Bellflower, so I'm probably closer to Cerritos, but I know a couple of the agents in Long Beach that are my friends, so I went over there. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with any of the offices, so you guys are in good hands. That's why we get to collaborate, That's why I'm here. La Mirada's, part will be doing theirs tomorrow, and Long Beach, obviously Nick's holding it down for Long Beach. So it's awesome. You guys get the dynamic and the diversity of all the offices and the fun that kind of goes along with all that. So it's good. It is a Thursday. What time is it? I'm going to get started sharp today at 10 because we do have our awards ceremony at 1. So I do want to make sure that, we get started on time and finish on time today. We might finish a little early, to be honest with you. So just giving you guys a heads up on that. So we'll see how it goes. Sometimes I say we're going to finish a little early, but there's so much material that we put in these 2 hours that it ends up taking up the whole time, but we'll see.
Sounds good. Hey, Eddie, I have a question.
Yep.
So I missed Tuesday's class. I just want to know if there's anything I missed. I'm assuming it's basically just SOI and pretty much contacting people that are basically within your SOI and letting them know you're in real estate.
Yeah, so the participant guides should be on your one, it's in your KW. Another thing, it should be in your private Facebook group for your office, so you can always review that. 2, there's a recording that's available, so that could be emailed to you if you missed the course.
Okay.
So yeah, that's stuff you can, you know, you'll be able to get and catch up on if you need.
Cool.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Hey, Jasmine, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. What office are you with, Jasmine?
I'm with Long Beach.
Long Beach, cool.
Yeah.
It's funny, every time I do these trainings, I get to meet people through the trainings in Long Beach. And sometimes like, man, by the end of it, I'm like, I just need to go visit over there and meet everybody in person.
Yeah.
It gets, you get that connection going when, by the time we're still in the beginning of this Ignite, but by the time we're done, we're all going to get pretty familiar with each other. So,
Yes.
but
What office are you at?
I'm with Cerritos.
Oh, okay. That's a lot. That office is a lot closer to me than Long Beach is. I'm in
Yeah.
Bellflower.
Awesome. Yep. We were just discussing how, all the offices are great. And Long Beach it's funny because Long Beach is closer to me. I live in Lakewood Village.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot closer.
Yeah. So, but it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I measured from my house. It takes 7 minutes to get to like the 605, like kind of Studebaker and Del Amo.
Okay.
And then another 7 minutes to go from there to actually get to the parking lot. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not a
Minutes on
bad
the street.
drive.
Awesome. So it's 9:59. I'll just give it another minute here and let me position myself to share screen. Get us going. And I'm sure people will trickle in as we go. All right, does everybody see the, let me change the Zoom view here. Does everybody see the Ignite Spark Section 2 lead generation is your core business?
Yes.
Is the core of your business? Awesome. All right, great. It's 10 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. So I do want to welcome all of you guys here today. I know most of us right now are here from Long Beach. I'm Eddie Habash. I'm the productivity coach here in Cerritos. I've done several of these classes already in collaboration with La Mirada and Long Beach. We have a great team of coaches, and the fact that we collaborate just makes things so much more, how can I say it? It allows the different perspectives to come together, which ultimately gives you guys as participants in these trainings to see a different style, a different point of view, right? It's not always the same person, because no matter how good you are, eventually, let's face it, right? We have 19 courses, I think, in this Ignite between start to finish. So it's awesome to have the rotation come. It keeps things a little bit more lively for you guys. So I enjoy doing it. I hope you guys enjoy the courses as well. But let's go ahead and get started. With that said, I know some of you introduced yourselves and some of you are from Long Beach. But for the most part, would most people in here say that they're relatively new to the business? How many people in here have been in the business for at least a year or longer? None? Okay, great.
Hey, Eddie. I would say I'm newer as a salesperson, but I've worked as a licensed assistant for the past 2.5 years.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic.
Year and a half from me.
Year and a half for you. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to get a feel of where we're at and some, in the room, just to kind of get an idea of where everybody is in the business. Okay, cool. So we're gonna jump right into it. So a lot of what we're gonna cover today is lead generation, right? Lead generation is the lifeline of your business, right? So there's a lot that comes with it. And I want to ask some of you guys, what is it that you know about lead generating? Who could start telling me just, what they know about it? Let me make some adjustments here, excuse me.
Well, I would say lead generation is kind of the core to any business. Without any leads, you're not gonna have a successful business.
Absolutely right. You're not gonna, how are you gonna exactly, without people coming to you, you're going to them, there's gonna be nobody to do business with, right? So that's spot on. Anybody else? Yes, no? Oh, okay, cool. I get it. Still early. We'll get going though. All right. So today, the goal is to work on our lead gen every single day, right? And by doing that, what we want to do is we want to be building a database, right? And we also want to be practicing scripts, obviously contacting prospective clients and getting to know their market, right? In 2 weeks, right, we will establish the core activities and the habits that we will use for our entire real estate career. So we're going to be going through a full spectrum of what it looks like for us from start to finish to start running through a complete career. And it's not going to be 2 weeks for us, but typically if this course was taken every single day, it would relatively fall around that time frame. Now we're going to follow up with returning agents and a lot of the activities. And we're going to follow up on different things. So you might see some things in the classes here that might overlap a little bit, but what we're doing is we're connecting, right? And we'll be previewing certain things that's come up and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get going. So we look at what successful agents do every day, right? To grow their business. In this slide here, it shows that, agents lead generate for buyers and sellers, right? They make seller listing presentations and get listings, okay? And 3, we make buyer presentations and get listings. This is a big piece, okay? Some people like to write this off, especially because we're always going for listings, but make sure you guys stay on top of your buyer game. And then we preview real estate, so we get to know the market just a little bit better, okay? And then things that we do to run the business is we obviously market seller listings. We show buyers houses. We negotiate contracts. Okay. Transaction management to closing. Okay. We do get help with that through TCs and stuff like that. Vendor management. We set our goals so we have clarity in what we're doing day in and day out. And then we make sure that we're in compliance with risk management and stuff like that. That's why we have brokers and are part of our great offices that have great support to make sure we keep things between the lines and attend trainings and coaching. That's why we're here today, right? And then we manage money, which is a big one, right? Especially when those checks start rolling in. There's a lot that goes in with that when, we're all 1099. So this is just to give you a little snapshot. I'm sure you see this every Ignite. They'll have this slide, but it's good to just keep it top of mind. This is what we do to grow the business. This is what we do to run the business. And it's important to identify because a lot of what we're going to be focusing on is right now is going to be on growing the business, right? So the secret to being a successful real estate agent is that there is no secret, right? Success leaves clues. So we know exactly what successful agents do every day. We know that they have different types of activities that grow the business. So when we have the clarity around that, we can actually start making sure that we remove distractions that get in our way, okay? The goal for our time here today is to follow a model, and that model is a model of what successful agents do every single day. And the focus for today is going to be lead generate for buyers and sellers, all right? And understanding the lead generation models allows you to actually launch into and grow your business. So we'll be focusing on what that looks like and building through that funnel. Okay. This is essentially our timeline of what we're going to be covering today. We'll go over the lead gen model. Okay. Because there's a model for everything that we do here in Keller Williams. And then we're going to look at lead generation in itself. We'll talk a little bit about the database, sales pipeline. We'll go through some ahas and then pretty much wrap it up after that. Cool. All right. So the big picture, right? Understanding lead generation model provides a larger vision of interconnecting tasks and habits, and how they will help you fund your big why. Now, our focus on today's Spark session is lead generation. As I said before, it's important that you participants understand why, participants understand how and what your learning fits in your day-to-day and your bigger picture. Okay. Now that you guys see this little funnel here, right? What does this funnel tell you? Is it, does it look confusing to you? Are you thrown off by it, or does it, make sense? For those of you that have been in the business for a little bit or been around it long enough, probably understand it. But I kind of want to get a perspective of people that are really new to the business. What does this look like when you see
Hey,
this?
Eddie,
Yeah.
this is Craig Younsimus in Long Beach.
Hey, Craig.
Well, it looks like a rain catcher or something like that. I'd like to know, you'll get to it, I'm sure, but I just see leads and contacts. To me, they're a lot alike, but I'd like you to go into that a little bit when you're ready.
Okay, for sure. We're definitely going to cover that. Definitely going to cover that. All right, so let's get going. So essentially here, we have a model, right? And when we follow a model, we can follow a proven path of success, a structure and how to get from A to Z, right? And making sure that we get everything in between so we can actually have a flow in our business. And that's important because oftentimes when we're always working in the creative and trying to reestablish what's already been built out and that actually works, we use a lot of time and energy. So the advantage for a lot of you are new to the business is you don't have to make this up. Somebody already created this. Now you just get to follow it, right? And as you get more efficient in the process, then we can move into what we call the creative phase, where you could start kind of making things a little bit more of your own. But as we start, we're going to start with, following a proven system and model that's been working. Okay. So the lead generation model is important because you can see through this model that's a big picture, right? For each piece. The task actually helps you achieve closed contracts. Closed contracts can help you achieve your financial goal and eventually funding your big why. So as you can see, we start with prospecting and marketing. That gets captured. And then we split those up from leads to contacts. And then from contacts, we do cultivate those, and then we move them into appointments. So essentially someone will raise their hand, they want to do business, and then you actively go out there, either you're helping them or you're listing their property, you get it under contract, or you're helping them find a property, and then you're getting them under contract and you close. And then guess what? After they close, they go back to the top, and you make sure that you kind of cultivate them through your database. And essentially that's where this section is here. So I don't want to go over, it's so easy for me to kind of give you guys my snapshot about this, but I do want to stick to the curriculum because for you guys, it does slow it down so you could get more detailed in what these subsections are here. And we are starting off obviously on top of the lead gen, but then this middle section of the funnel is your database and the bottom is your sales pipeline. So we're going to be breaking that down. So the lead generation model is backed by research, and that research has been conducted for the second edition of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, which we're hoping will come out soon. Today's discussion, we're not going to really follow so much of what teams look like, but it's going to be more what this model looks like for the solo agent. Okay. Now that the model is up, there are 3 phases. As I said, you have the lead gen activities, you have the database activities, and then you have your sales pipeline activities. Okay. The top part of the model is the part that is categorized as lead gen. This is the part of the model where we'll be focusing, where focus on lead generation leads through prospecting and marketing. Now, prospecting is when you go out and you find the leads. Okay. Let me repeat that. Prospecting is when you go out and you find the leads. Marketing is when you attract the leads and they seek you out. That's the difference between prospecting and marketing. And it's important to separate the two because they are 2 separate things. Not only are you working to get new leads, but you're also working to get new repeat and referral business from your sphere of influence, right? So the sphere of influence are people that already know you, like you, and probably want to do business with you, right? And that can come from your previous business, your previous job, friends, family. What bonds that is a trust factor. Whether you're new to real estate or not, people kind of know who you are. They know the type of character you carry, and because you connect with those people, they'll more likely than not want to work with you regardless of what you do, because they know the person you are and what you kind of stand for, right? So it's a big part of the business, especially when you're starting, to kind of establish a base with your sphere of influence. Okay. Now we are going to work with our databases, right? And leads and contacts. And leads and contacts are broken into two different parts of your database, because you will be working with and communicating with each group in a different way. Okay. So we're going more into what we're just discussing. Craig, right? Asked about, was it
Yes,
Craig?
thank-
Sorry.
yes, yes.
Okay,
Leads
cool.
and contacts and explaining the difference.
Right. So we're
So a
going right into
contact
that.
is a developed lead.
Yep. So we're working our way to being top. We're working our way to stay top of mind and have conversations through different touches and activities, right? We got phone calls, handwritten letters, event invitations, text messages, promotional material, are all examples of how you might be in communication with your database. Okay. Now your sales pipeline is a final piece of that model. Once a lead or contact has raised their hand to do business, okay, and has identified a timeline to close, they go into step number 4, which is cultivate, all right, which is the beginning of the last piece of the model, all right? Now, the remaining steps follow the transaction until it has been completed, right? So the remaining steps would be appointments, active, under contract, closed. Okay. After the transaction has closed, the contact moves back to the database, okay, and continues an interactive value-based touch program to deepen the relationship. It's important that you guys understand that it's not just a transaction, right? That even though the transaction just closed, right? It's important to know that you're building a long-term relationship, and the agent should continue to stay top of mind with repeat business or referral. Okay. And we do that through our database and these touch campaigns. Many of you might have heard it as drip campaigns, right? So I kind of explained a little bit of overall this funnel. What are some of the ahas that you guys got from just looking at the model? I gave you guys a little breakdown. I know it might seem like a lot, but what are some ahas you got from just, this model now that we kind of explained it a little bit? I'll start calling names, I promise. No ahas? All right, we'll keep it rolling then. Okay, so we covered that in that section, that prospecting and marketing bring leads and contacts into the database. Okay, now they should be prospecting. You should be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. Okay, and your lead generation efforts should never stop. So now we're going to be going a little deeper into this. Okay, so lead generation is the life of an agent's business. It should never stop. It should be purposeful and intentional, and it moves you closer to your goal, and it's part of the larger strategy. Okay. Now, the first part of lead generation model is prospecting and marketing. Okay. We identified that prospecting as active lead generation, where you're going out and tracking down the leads. Okay. And marketing is more passive lead generation, is a more passive lead generation effort where you're attracting the leads to come to you. Okay. So with that, how do you think agents perform at a high level successfully using lead generation? I just gave you two very critical pieces, prospecting and marketing. So how do you think agents perform at a high level using these two things?
They do a lot of it.
Combination of both all the time.
Consistency.
That's right. That's right. So you guys are all spot on. You do a lot of it, first of all. And let me just refine that. You don't just do a lot of it, you do it consistently. You do it consistently and you protect that time. Okay. Whether it's a little or it's a lot, the magic is in how consistent are you doing it. That's the key right there. Are you time blocking it? Are you putting it in your schedule? Are you making sure that you have set goals? Are you measuring? Those are key things, because if you're not measuring, you're not going to have a frame of reference to really know how to build a predictable business. Now, many agents will go ahead and repeat the same year over and over again for 20 years, but that's not what we're out here to do. We're here to evolve year over year for the next 20 years, right? Or it could be 10, it could be 5, it could be whatever years you want to be in the business. But the key is that we want to develop and grow and not just repeat the same stuff. So when you can go into these habits, especially in your lead gen, you can run a very successful business in real estate for a very long time. And at the end of the road, when you're ready to hang it up, guess what? You might even have a sellable business because you have a well-maintained database where you can keep ownership of it and have somebody else run it, or you could sell it, right? Awesome. So in our next step here, we are going to watch a short video. Now, they wanted us to watch this 10-minute video here, but there is a video here that I found that's a little bit more up to date. It's from the family reunion we just had in 2021. It's 5 minutes, not 10, but nonetheless, let me go ahead and pull that up and get that up for you guys real quick. Come on. Let me move this. Why is this doing that? Let's see. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Let me share this screen. Which screen do you guys see? Do you see the one with smart business, smart database, or do you see the lead gen screen?
Smart business.
Smart business. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and start that. Let me make sure we have our audio on, actually shared sound. Okay.
Gary Keller. At Family Reunion in 2021, Gary Keller and Jay Papasan talked about the importance of a smart business and a smart database. This session was all about the power of your database. The first thing to understand of your database is, well, what's the purpose of a business? The purpose of a business is to turn a profit, right? So they really talked about this over the last few years of how we have to turn a profit, and every profitable business has a database. Think Amazon, they have a large database. All their consumers, staying in touch with them, knowing their wants and needs is very important. In the pandemic,
you guys hear everything
a lot
okay?
of things to us around care calls, checking in with our people, and the importance of a relationship. So a smart business, just to recap a little bit about what Gary and Jay talked about, smart businesses know their customers are, how to interact with them, and have purposefully established a meaningful relationship with them. And databases are the foundation of a smart business because they allow you to keep and build ongoing relationships with clients that are either ready to do business with you today or down the road. So I love the fact that we're having this conversation because this isn't a new conversation. However, are you maximizing the opportunity of your database? Or are they just a bunch of numbers and names in a phone? Which is a database, it's not smart. We don't have enough details yet. What are their spouses' names? What do they like to do on the weekend? What are their family, occupation, recreation, dreams? What do they care about? Who are they in the relationship with? Where do they work? Those kind of things matter, and Amazon's a perfect example of this because if I buy shoes from Amazon, guess what Amazon's keeping in front of me? Shoes and similar products like that. How are we in this industry staying on top of that? Because you're in competition with all other real estate agents and big companies that begin with a Z that are masters of staying in touch with people based on things that they like and their interest, at least real estate interest. They haven't turned to say, I know you as a human yet. So part of our big focus of a smart database allows you to have a planned and meaningful communication with the people in it and to build a relationship with them over time. And you experience a better return on investment for your lead generation when you use a smart database, because you'll be able to focus on generating repeat and referral business. And when you build a business around a database, you're able to more reliably and predictably generate income. This means you do better control of the future of your business. So there are really 3 levels of a smart database, and we're going to tie this into Command. So each level is going to help you communicate and bring value to your customers. However, achieving level 3 allows you to automate your interactions with them in time in a way that feels personal and individualized, yet scales so that you can reach your database and stay top of mind. Level 1 is essential. We just need their name, contact information, and what type of business you've conducted with them in the past. Like they've been a buyer, they've been a seller, or what is their future business? They own a home, so they might be a future seller one day. Level 2 is effective, which is collecting the permission to contact them moving forward. Gather their personal information and preferences. What's the best way to reach you? How do I communicate with you? And segment them into proper groups. That's tags. Then use this information to have a more purposeful and consistent communication with them. And level 3, to get to the exceptional, this database contains triggers that enable you to automate your communication around them. That's the point of why we're doing this little series here, is to say, how do we establish a smart database for your business? And you want to work backwards from your income goal you've set to determine how many people you need to have in your database, assuming you get repeat and referral business from them. Add them to your database over time by prospecting and marketing, and reach out to the people in your database in ways with topics that appeal to and are relevant to them. Just like Amazon, I want to know about the things I purchased. I don't need to know about everything they have. That's the importance of this kind of topic. So I wanted to tie this into Command. So Command, we're going to start day 1 of this series with focusing around the contact. The first thing is entering the basics of the information. So we're going to add a contact today inside of Command, and then from there we're going to delve deeper into tags, we're going to deep into smart plans and how to get more information. So if you come to the add a contact button in the corner, you would start with their name. So maybe it was John Smith, and his email address is johnsmith@yahoo.com. You can enter their phone number if you have it, right? So 954-334, right? However, you need to get more information from them. Where did this person come from, right? Was it an agent relationship, an allied resources? Was it a person? Was it Zillow, right? That's the kind of stuff that I can pull in, mark as a lead if they are, and then the tags. So this would be the basic. This would be your level 1. I need some basic information, and a tag could just simply be seller. That would be level 1 based on the little database here. So that would be step 1. From there, then we're going to go into add more information. So stay tuned to this database series. Follow us along on how to make it there. Let's just start with the basics. Get your people in with the basic information. Let us dive deeper into this along the way, and join us as we continue our journey of building a smart business with a smart database.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and get us back on the screen. All right, so what did you guys get out of that video?
I'll chime in. I like that it has a natural flow to it. You're not just jamming people into the role of buyer or seller or whatever. You're actually, it's relationship heavy. It builds on your strengths. It plays to, I think even the comfort zone of a lead. But you build that out, you reinforce the trust if it's someone that you haven't known for a long time. And then it organizes them. So I liked it.
Awesome. And then to just kind of, because he spoke to what's a contact, and then did you see how he said, and if they're a lead, then you would click that they're a lead, right? And I think, so to answer your question, a contact is a contact, often can be defined as somebody that you've asked whether they're interested in doing business or not, right? And then a lead is somebody who does engage and raise their hand and says, hey, I'm okay with having a two-way communication with you to discuss business, right? And that's essentially the difference, okay? In many ways, in terms how to shape that up. So not all your contacts are necessarily people that are going to want to, you know, engage with you right now, right? But nonetheless, they're probably contacts, right? They could be contacts because, you know, you're farming a specific area and you have your farm in your database. They could, you know, be people, you know, that you know, but just, you know, aren't ready to do business with you just yet. But it becomes a lead when somebody's saying, hey, I need some help. Let's work together. Okay. But thanks for sharing that, Greg.
Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome. So, you know, we watched the video and, you know, and with that, it sparks like, you know, we know why lead gen is important, right? And the goal of lead gen is to generate some more business. And successful agents do that consistently. And you know, the reward of actually having a proper database and lead generating system is just amazing. So your efforts, you know, in your day-to-day should always be focused more on lead gen than anything else, in my opinion. That's just a foundational piece of what we do day in and day out. Okay, let's go on to this next topic here, which is going to be diving a little deeper on the database here, or being prospecting versus marketing enhanced. So here we got a pyramid, and the bottom of the base shows that there's prospecting, and on the top it's marketing. So with marketing, it's, you know, money intensive, right? It's passive, and there's long-term results that's associated with that, right? And then in prospecting, it's more time intensive, right? It's proactive, and you get immediate results. So by prospecting, you can choose day in and day out, whether you're calling people, passing out flyers. I mean, right now we're not obviously doing door knocking for obvious reasons and stuff like that. But once it comes back, open houses and those things, you know, you can kind of choose by prospecting how many people you want to talk to, right? Especially if you're on the phones. You can stay on the phones until you make sure you get your 20, 30, 40, 50 contacts a day, if that's what you choose, right? Versus marketing, where what we're doing is we're putting out information and we're, you know, expecting people to maybe raise their hand and communicate back to us based on what we're putting out, right? So those are, you know, that's kind of what this demonstrates here. And if you guys want to follow along, this is page 6 of your participant guide. Okay. And lead generation is, you know, is ever evolving. It's an ever evolving list of ideas, methods, and practices that bring leads into your business. Okay. There are broad categories of both prospecting and marketing to choose from. Okay. And even though that, like, there's a variety of factors, the market, the agent preferences, the budget, and the goals will dictate the type of sources you'll use, and what's the best practice. And the best practice ultimately is to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. So that's why this pyramid is shaped this way. You always want to be prospecting based, because you know what? It's just the most cost effective way. As things get more, I would say more, you know, as the ball gets more, you know, as you're rolling in your business, as you're, I can't believe I'm like stumbling right now. So as you're moving along in your business and you're building that and you're leading with revenue and you're generating the funds to start marketing, right? Then you could start going a little bit more on the marketing side. But as newer agents, you want to be prospecting based first, because there's a lot of things that come with that. There's the ability to build the skills to communicate. Because I'll tell you, there's a lot of people that go and they dump a lot of money just to get leads. But guess what? Their conversion rates are nowhere near where they need to be for them to actually take those clients or those leads that's coming in and turn them into business. So when you're prospecting, you do several things. One, you're not just spending a bunch of money. Two, you're building your skill set, right? You're having enough conversations. You get to know a little bit more of what's happening in the market through those conversations. And you start to focus on what you're saying on the conversations, and you start to actually listen to what's going on the other side. In the beginning, you're probably going to be very, just to be honest, you're probably going to be a little worried about what you're going to say next. And when you're worried about what you're going to say next, you're not really hearing what the client's saying on the other end, right? So as you start developing your skills in prospecting and talking to people, you're going to get better at listening instead of worrying about what you're going to say. And that's also done with scripts and role play. But oftentimes you do enough prospecting, it becomes second nature to you. You learn how to get to motivation, right? You know how to utilize the scripts and navigate around them to kind of get to where you need to go in that conversation based on, you know, the disc profile of the other person on the other side of that phone. Some people want quick, short answers. You can learn how to pick up on that. Some people are a little more analytical. They're going to want more details, right? Some people are going to be a little maybe hot-headed about things, and you're going to learn how to diffuse that. So there's a lot of things that come with prospecting. And those that are the best in the business, I'll tell you right now, they never stop prospecting. They don't, because they know that if they got to jump back in the seat, they can do that. They could go fishing all day if they need to. And in a shifting market, you will see people that maybe have not been prospecting or has not been prospecting very much for the past 8 years, right? But have kept it kind of going, will jump back into a heavier role in prospecting, because sometimes that's what it takes to regain, you know, the traction that you need in a shifting market. So that's what comes there. But once you're actually getting the ball rolling and things are going in the right direction, marketing is a way to supplement and get leads and get things flowing a little bit more efficiently. But again, you do that when the skills are up there and you're leading with the revenue, you're generating enough funds from prospecting to move that into marketing. Okay. Some of the marketing efforts, it's obviously marketing is a little indirect, and to attract leads and support and enhance your prospecting conversations. There are examples of that, such as direct mail advertisement, right? Leading. Then there's obviously leveraging material to have follow-up. There's Facebook, there's Instagram. There's all kinds of ways right now that people are marketing to get information. One of the more popular ways that I know marketing is playing a bigger role right now is postcards. Postcards for a long time was kind of the thing of the past, but since door knocking and open houses have been a little out of the picture, direct consumer has been working great through postcards, and I see a lot of people today having success with that. But again, postcards are costly, right? Postage alone, probably looking at a minimum of 57 cents, and then you still got to make the card, right? So that just gives you an idea a little bit around that. Now with prospecting, it is more proactive, it is more direct, it keeps you active versus reactive in a reactive state. And then it's the act of searching for leads, right? People that are wanting to have a two-way conversation with you about doing business. It allows you to focus on the prospective or a proactive customer, and in terms of just, knowing what the next activities are, what steps to take, and critical, and it will be critical to your ability to hit your numbers when you're in a market shift, obviously, or, it's critical to hit your numbers no matter what, because when you're hitting your numbers, you can measure and then again, see where you're headed in your business. So your marketing efforts sometimes won't generate enough leads, but you have more control of that again in prospecting. So why do you guys think it's better to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced versus marketing based and prospecting enhanced?
Cost effective.
Yep, for sure that. What else?
I would say
Prospecting is more personable.
Yep.
I would
It's
say
more one-on-one.
prospecting relies on you while marketing relies on another person. So you can rely on yourself to get business.
Boom. There it is. Anybody have anything else? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, cool. So, there's a lot that comes with these two things. And at the end of the day, it's just important for you guys to identify the difference between both and understand why it's good to kind of like choose one path. But then it's also an opportunity to say, okay, I have a goal, right? I have a goal where I want to start doing some marketing. You know, maybe I'm closing consistently 2 deals a month, and now it's time to like level it up and go on to the next step. I want to take some of the funds that I'm generating here and start supplementing my 2. And if I start marketing, and if I could just get 1 more deal a month and start at 3 transactions consistently, right, and go and grow from there. Those are types of things that, you know, you could start to measure by, you know, prospecting and knowing where you're at and knowing that you can convert, right? And then starting to set budgets, because at the end of the day, once you got your formula down on how to generate 1 or 2 deals, and if you're generating at least 2 deals a month, which I think is bare minimum, because who knows if 1 closes or doesn't, at least you'll have 1 more, you know, you'll have 1 closed deal. So you're not going a month or 30 days without a paycheck. I think that's really important. So that's why sometimes I like to focus on units closed. Many of us here get to work with higher price points compared to other areas in the United States. So we are a little spoiled, right? We can get those big paychecks that might carry you 2-3 months out. But at the end of the day, we can't focus on the dollar amount as much as we should be focusing on the unit count, because we're looking for consistency. We want to see how can we create the same, you know, the same structure over and over again. You know, how does McDonald's make the same burger over and over again, right? And it's not much different when they compartmentalize, you know, where you're going. If you pull up to any drive-through or fast food restaurant, you have 2 sections. Either you're going through drive-through or you're going in the door, right? So that could be looked at, you know, as prospecting, marketing, or, you know, leads versus contacts. So it's essentially, how do we create the system that has the same flavor over and over and over again? And once you could do that, then you can 5x, 10x, 15, 20x, 100x, whatever the efforts to generate and start building that predictable business and get to those financial goals, and ultimately funding that big why that you're looking for, right? In the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things. So that's why we're breaking these things down, because we're in the beginnings of creating something that's got to be duplicatable and scalable. Okay. So prospecting, let me go ahead, and there's some things here that let me summarize. There's going to be some things that I read for you guys, because I don't want to have you guys miss out on some crucial things that's in the program too. So it says here that prospecting, let me see. Okay. It is best to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced because it is cost effective. Yes, we discussed that. And when you are prospecting based, you're having the conversation and building the connections with your database. Okay. When you're prospecting, you can determine the climate in certain geographical areas where you focus on your prospecting efforts, right? That's a big one. So if you're farming and things of that, you can actually determine the climate of an area from just, you know, being familiar with it and contacting it enough times. Prospecting allows you to really become in tune with the geographical areas you service, giving you insights to why people are moving in or out of the area. You also become the local expert, and by learning, that makes that geographic area unique. Okay. So you get to get more familiar. You know, I know quite a few people that's farmed quite a few areas. They just know the neighbors. They know the kids. They know what schools they go to. They know what's happening. They probably know a little too much sometimes. But that's what happens when you're constantly building relationships in certain neighborhoods and finding, you know, and establishing that base. You start to have trust. You start to have actual friendships. And it makes the business fun that way, right? Awesome. So let's move on. So we're going to go into part 2 here, which is your database. And we, you know, obviously we have Command here to manage your database. Some people have different systems to manage theirs, but nonetheless, a lot of the examples we're going to follow here today is going to be based on Command, right? And, you know, your database essentially stores information. Okay. It's updated regularly. It could be organized to meet specific needs. Excuse me, my lights went out. Move this chair. And then lead generation feeds your database. So I think that that's one of the most important things here, like in the process, is that last piece is feeding your database. Feeding your database is crucial. You want to do that every single day. Okay. Back to the top where we're essentially storing information. again, just like Jay in that video was speaking, it's great that a lot of our databases are on our phone. Okay, that's cool. You know, like we have these things. They're the most used devices in today's world. And that's great. But the reality is there's a lot of things that we can't do on our phones that will make us a lot more efficient by putting people and storing them correctly in a system that allows us to use things like tags and can sift through different contacts through filters. It gives us more options and to automate them on smart plans and drip campaigns to make sure that we're top of mind. Okay. And updating that regularly is not as hard as people think. You know, it seems like it could be a big task, but the reality is, you know, if you're contacting your database once a quarter and you're making those calls and you're checking in and you're following up, guess what? It's not going to be that hard to go in and make the adjustments that you make, right? Maybe they got a new pet. Maybe they got a newborn, you know, baby. Maybe they have, you know, maybe you're seeing certain things on Facebook that you just want to note and put them in. But nonetheless, updating is key because you get to pick up where you left off, right? And people will be impressed by that. Okay. And then it could be organized by your specific needs. It also could be organized by you knowing where you're getting the majority of your business. You know, you start tracking how you're getting your business, right? Closed business. Are they sellers? Are they bellers, buyers and sellers, right? We, you know, come out all kinds of fancy little tags for people in our database, but you can start to see and start to measure different things by inputting them in a proper system. And you can see what systems are working, right? Or what campaigns are working, or where you're getting, you know, good feedback from, or where you're probably, you know, getting some feedback where you can use some improvement. So it's just a healthy way to keep on top of things, right? So let's keep on moving here. So leads have a valid contact information, okay? And have one-way conversations where you're seeking permission, okay? Contacts have a valid information where you have a permission for two-way. Sorry, I confused the two. So it's the other way around. So with contacts, you get you get to receive a permission to have a two-way conversation. And then with leads, you're seeking the conversation. You're seeking for permission. So when you're in this process here, oftentimes, you know, we want to sit there and we want to actually give people the options, right, to generate and find for themselves why they need to do business with you. Okay. So with leads, often, you know, if you're going out and you're discussing certain things, or you're coming in with a value proposition, most clients don't know on the other end why they should be talking to you or doing business. Just like how we're shifting in the market right now with in terms of just, you know, it's a seller's market. We're top of the market. People right now, most of the people I talk to don't know why they should be selling their homes, right? I mean, they know that it's worth a lot of money, but they don't want to get rid of the house because they don't know what to move into next. So they don't know about 1031 exchanges. They don't know about options that they can have. So it's important that when we are connecting with, you know, with actual leads, that we have the opportunity at that point to demonstrate some value or put some doubt in their minds of why, right, they should be speaking with you, because they don't know. They might not know that we're at, you know, that they might hear that rates are low, but they might not know that they can actually refinance and lock in a lower rate. A lot of buyers you end up sitting with don't know that they can buy. That's been one of the biggest things. They don't until you sit and educate them. So there's so many ways of why when we communicate with people, it's so important for us to, you know, be able to demonstrate value and show them that and create our business. Oftentimes we just default into they say no, right? And we're not able to hold up the conversation to show them and demonstrate why it's important to sit down with us for 30 to 45 minutes. Now, once you show them that value and show them that there's a way for them to achieve their goals, or to find them a solution for those that are looking but can't find one, or hasn't found it, you know, a way to make it happen, and you come in, you can provide that. Now you can create that opportunity where you're getting a two-way conversation. Because I'll tell you, most of the time, the answers are going to be no. That's just the reality of it. They're going to be no, and you know, it's up to us to turn those no's into a yes. And it's not a no to you, so it's nothing that you got to take personal. Oftentimes it's a no because one, they think they can't and they don't know the process, or two, they're just not ready at this time. But if you follow up consistently and you have certain structures in place, those no's do start turning into yeses. And that's the goal, right? Is to get those no's to turn into yeses. So again, that's leads and that's contacts. And once that's established and they become a contact, and you move from there. Let me see here. So specifics here on leads. You have their contact information. You don't know a lead's motivation yet, but you can infer their motivation, right? It's kind of what we talked to a little bit, right? In terms of contacts, you have implied or explicit permission to have ongoing connection with them, right? So you've communicated with them and they've responded. All right. And what you could find for possible, and what are some of the leads and contacts and resources that you could think of would be things such as neighborhoods, right? Or geographic farms, social media, followers, LinkedIn, contacts, right? Et cetera, stuff like that. Sphere of influence, family, friends, neighborhoods, coworkers, schoolmates, teammates, workmates, all that stuff. So anything that, you know, anybody can follow within, I guess, those two categories in a lot of ways, but it starts with you asking the question, right? So that's just some stuff that they wanted to throw in and just highlight in the system. Now with leads, you do want to convert those leads through what we call a 19 to connect, right? Based on this, and that's 4 touches, quarterly phone calls, 12 touches monthly, right? So you could do email monthly campaigns and newsletters. You got market reports and videos that you could send, things like Bonbon right now. I think a lot of video texting or video emails is something that's working pretty well. Then you could do 2 touches, right, of promotional or direct mail, such as magnet calendar, market report, etc. You can do 1 touch annual. You can have like a annual event. Right now, we're not seeing too much of those, obviously, but we've had people do like the movie screening thing, and you know, or just, you know, client appreciation parties and stuff like that. So, you know, that's just a sample of what you could do to, you know, to touch on leads and to promote and get them in business, and just to and show them, like, you know, where you're at. Because oftentimes, why you're doing this is because you want to stay top of mind, right? And you're going to cover this more in your database, but I did want to show you guys, give you guys a perspective. The reason why we do these touches, right, is because we want them to know that we're number 1 or number 2 in their heads when it comes to real estate. We don't want them to just kind of forget about us. And that oftentimes happens, right? There's so many agents out there that if you're not number 1 or number 2 in their mind, guess what? They'll find somebody else. That's just what happens, right? So we need to find a systematic way for us to make sure that we stay top of mind with them and win what we call the mind share game. And we do that by doing these connections, right? And working our databases. And then we have your contacts, right? 36 to convert. You have 4 touches, telephone calls, okay, 26 touches bi-weekly, email offerings, some type of information or value. You could do 2 touches, events, get-togethers, parties, and 4 touches, promotional direct, market reports, calendars, etc. So essentially, a lot of it's the same stuff, maybe slightly different message, but for the most part, some of these automated things, you're just coming from a place of value, right? And again, it's there so that you're top of mind. If you guys, I don't, you know, you guys aren't in front of me, so I don't have a board to do this, but if you actually, you know, had your peaks and valleys drawn out where there was like this line, right, that was going up and down, oftentimes when, you know, you make a contact, that contact just might not be at that peak where they're ready to make a move. But when you have a system from the bottom of the valley, and that system is kind of keeping in touch with them through automation all the way up to where it gets to a point to where eventually they're, okay, I'm ready to do something. That's the opportunity. That's where your systems are working to say, hey, this guy's been communicating with me for the past year, 2 years, 3 years, even sometimes, right? Or however long it takes. And they've just been consistent, right? I receive their emails, I get their text messages. They call me, once a quarter or twice a year, whatever it is, right? And now I'm ready to do something. Guess what? You're going to be the person that you call. There's nobody else that's been systematically approaching and communicating with them the way you have. So that's where you win that game. So that's why it's important for us to take the database piece and really implement it, because we'll go ahead and we'll lead generate and we'll prospect, we'll market, we'll do all this work. But guess what? We'll get that one deal and that's it. We don't get the referrals. We don't get the the next 2-3 transactions that person might want to have in their lifetime, right? Or maybe up to 7 oftentimes. So there's a lot of business that's left on the table when we don't utilize the database and we don't use these touch campaigns. And I say that because I know it's easier said than done. And the reality is I know a lot of people that have been in the business for a long time, and they don't have these things in place. And guess what? I get it. They'll forever be lead generating and prospecting for their business today, but that's not what's going to set them up for the business that they need to have tomorrow. So implementing this is huge. So there's a lot of things that's already built into Command for you guys to have. I know very successful teams will, the last quarter of every year, sit down and actually methodically think of how our touches are going to look like, and plan that out and put it together and get it implemented. So those are key things for you guys that I just want to, highlight. Don't, as you're new in the business, don't skip out on this. It's huge. Okay. Is there any questions around this? No? You guys feel free to stop me whenever you need to. All right. So the relevant conversation means, we're just here to have relevant value for the clients, right? And timely conversations mean greater opportunity to convert, a lead to a contact and eventually to a closed transaction. So this is just a big communication system that sets us up for the opportunity and essentially casting a wide net to make sure that nobody's slipping through the cracks, right? While we're doing a bunch of other things, we have systems in place working for us. All right, let's move along here. So we're not going to do a demo on Command today for various reasons. There's a lot of people on it, not on it, but those that are, there are things that you have in Command that you can utilize. Things like, obviously putting in a contact, which we've seen in the video. You have custom tags, right? And how you can sort your clients. You got smart views and interactions and smart plans. These are just all tools that, if you get the opportunity to go in Command, if that's what you use. I'm not sure what you guys are using out there. Is the majority of us here using Command? Is there anybody not using Command that they'd like to share?
I am.
You're using Command?
I'm not. Well, I'm a little bit, but I have a different CRM.
What CRM are you using?
Brivity.
Brivity. Awesome. Anybody else using any other kind of CRMs other than Command right now? So Command right now is obviously in a 2 to 3 month rework where they're just trying to stabilize it. I know a lot of people who are still using it. Some people who jumped off of it and want to come back once it's ready. Once it's ready, I do believe that this is going to be the CRM to utilize. But I do think it also needs more time. That's just my honest opinion. But I do think that they got the right idea. I just think, their challenge is scaling it to 160, 170,000 plus agents to get it to work right. So I understand their challenges, but I also understand why people are using other CRMs right now. And that's why we'll just kind of keep things moving along here. Custom tags. So we talked a little bit about, the contacts. We've seen that process of it, but, you'll be adding your own contacts through whatever CRM you're using, right? And the idea of actually having custom tags is so that you can split those tags up. Does anybody here have any, want to share kind of how they use tags, custom tags in their CRM?
I have different ones. I have referrals. I also tag like their birthday month so that I can pull together a list of people that I need to greet like the month before. Buyers, sellers. I also tag if like they're a family or friend, like a sphere. And also I have tags for if they want to be included in the mailing list or newsletter list.
Awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else? We have some people here, Lion's Desk, not using command. Okay, got it. Sorry. If there's anything that comes up in the chat, sometimes I don't see it. So feel free to, if anybody wants to say, hey, we got someone in
Hey,
the chat.
Patty, it's Angelica.
Hey, Angelica, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Long time.
Long time. I tab mine, I make mine with seller, buyer, 6 months, 12 months, like a time frame.
There you go.
Also, I have leads in there for closures or when I do the virtual workshops.
Okay.
I put that database in there, so in case I'm having another one, I'll invite them, just certain things like that.
Awesome, awesome. So you guys got some examples, right? You could separate them by personal contacts, social media contacts, past coworkers. There's all kinds of things we could do to use these custom tags. And they all work as long as they work for you, right? Everybody, there's not like one way of doing it, but you just want to make sure that you have a way of organizing it so that when you are looking for specific people or specific things, you're just able to find it. That's it. But it's a great way to organize your database. Cool. Let's move on to the next. Let's see here.
How do you have yours?
I have mine pretty much split up by A, B's, C's. Some from my, family, friends, right? I have things set up, social media. If I'm doing any kind of marketing, I'll tag like, whichever route they came in. So I'll, just very similar to what everybody else said, for the most part. Pretty much the same stuff. I do also run the real estate licensing program here. So when I get leads through, like, let's say one of my pages for that, then I know it's a real estate licensing school. Did they graduate? Did they not graduate? Past clients, active clients, hot, warm, cold. So there's all kinds of ways we, we'll tag things. But I'm not in my database as much as I used to be. I have a virtual assistant now that's managing all that stuff for me. I find that I just like to talk to people and get my business flowing while I do have an idea of where we're at with it, but I do allow, eventually once you're in the business long enough, you'll find people that can do certain things better than you can, and you just put it in their hands. But you still want to know what's going on. You never want to not, completely be out the loop. But I'm not in it as much as I used to be. I just like to make the calls or get my task list for the day, because if you properly manage your database, you can get your task list going and you'll know what you need to do, and you just systematize your time and structure that in to make sure that you're hitting all the key things that you need, that your database tells you. Sometimes that's following up with people that said they were ready, that they'll be ready in 3 months. That 3 months is now up. So you probably put those days in. So that's the beauty of the database. It kind of tells you what you need to do. Some days are going to be heavier than others. I like, just like the birthday one, maybe categorize people, tag them by birthdays, like for that month. So there's all kinds of ways of doing it. So we discussed this part already here. So smart views, right? So if you're using command, you can create and save custom views, smart views, for easy access to information, right? That you want to that's quickly related to your contacts. You can set group or filters to save filter settings to create a smart view. And you can also customize naming the conventions of the smart views that they save. So there's ways for you to also, generate things through command. that allow you to connect clients through Smart Views. Who's using Smart Views right now? Those that are in Command. Anyone?
I'm sorry, what's a smart view?
So Smart Views, it kind of gives you the way I understand it, because I'm not into Command either as much. But the way I understand Smart Views is you can, as it shows here in the process. You know what? Let me just do this. I wanna help you guys out here.
I run ads and those are working good.
Yeah, but I wanna wait. Let me see here. I have a link here that I'm trying to pull up for you guys, but it's not activating for me. Let me stop share real quick and go to Command. Command.
It's
So
okay.
while
just
I'm pulling that
explain.
up, no, I'm gonna pull it up, but I wanted to ask you. So while I'm pulling that up, anybody using Smart Plans in Command right now?
Smart plans. Smart plans. That's the drip system, correct?
Yeah, you're able to customize things for your clients through Smart Plans based on what they're looking for, right? And certain structures. But let me, and also their drips. Hold on here. Why is this not working?
I've got some going, but that's not my primary CRM,
Yeah.
but I still have it go on some clients just to see.
It's not. I agree. I mean, that's kind of, I'm on the same boat with a lot of you. It's not my primary CRM either. So I'm not as familiar with these things, but I used to train the Command courses 2 years ago, but everything in it has changed. So that's kind of why I'm just like, well, when it stabilizes, I'll get back on it. But I'll get you guys those answers. I don't know why my Command's not letting me in right now either. I think that's part of the reason why, to be honest with you, I'm just not on that stuff. But anyway, let me get back to this stuff here. I'll get you guys more information on this stuff. I apologize that I don't have that ready right now for you in specifics, and it's not giving it to me in the material here. But if anybody has anything that they understand that is using Command that wants to share anything about it, that would be great as well.
I'm sorry to chime in, Eddie, but I have ran a couple ads and I have got good leads from it.
Okay.
And then it does go directly to like the drip. I really like that.
I do think that that's the advantages that they set up pretty with Command that I do appreciate, is that before we used to generate leads, and from those leads, we used to have to take them and manually put them in. And now we have the opportunity, when we're generating leads through Command, that they're being fed into your database. If you're not using Command, you still can use things like Zapier and LeadsBridge and all these other things to still get things to dump back in. But it does make things a lot more efficient when you are using a lot of the Command platforms that does generate right from Command, and it's essentially, that's its native place, right? That's where it goes to, and you're able to manage what you're doing day in and day out in your business a little bit more efficient in that way.
I could say that I've ran ads in Facebook by themselves without Command.
Okay.
And I do not get leads. So through Command, I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm getting numbers and emails. I have called them back, but at least I'm getting that.
Right. Awesome. So I heard a lot of mixed things. So some people are doing both, and some say, hey, I'm getting neck and neck. Some people are saying I'm getting better results in Command. Supposedly with what they worked with Facebook, the algorithms, we should have some advantages running those through Command. And then there's other things out there like Street Text and Perfect Storm that people run for Facebook ads through that also help them convert. So those that are not using Command, they have other ways of how they're generating Facebook leads through there. The idea here though is as long as you have a way where you're generating your business and you have people jumping on in a sense of getting in and finding a way to generate leads, then that's the key. And oftentimes you'll try different things. Sometimes things will work, sometimes they won't, but you keep going after it. I do highly recommend jumping on Command Your Conversion with Nick Baldwin if you want more information on Command, or finding out what people are doing through Labco agents if you're not on that Facebook group, to also see certain campaigns that they're running on Facebook that might just help you start generating leads, without overthinking it, right? It's awesome when you have a community that's willing to share what they're doing and getting good results out of leads. Sometimes it's the delivery, it's the message, it's the photo. It could be numerous things in how you produce your results. All right. So these are all, again, relative to Command stuff. I think, we kind of covered that. We're all not kind of on it. Again, if there's more information, Command Your Conversion, I think would be the best bet, or contact me after the class. I'll get you guys more details on that stuff. I just don't have that resource directly in front of me here. And for the sake of time, we'll just be kind of moving on. And now we're going to go into the sales pipeline, right? Which is that last piece of the funnel that we're talking about. So we covered the lead gen, we covered the database, and now we're in the sales pipeline. Sales pipeline shows this part here where we're in section 4, right? We're going to cultivate. And you're going to cultivate, and it's an interactive action-based touch program. So this is where those 19 touches and the 36 touches, some people are running 54 touches, if not higher these days, right? It's nurtured or qualified leads. You'll see that in there. And then they'll go into what we call appointments, right? We're going to set the appointment. Once we set the appointment, at that point, we'll see if you're willing, able to actually do something here. Whether if you're representing a buyer, then you'll go out there, probably help them look for a property. If they're a listing, you'll get that listing prep. Obviously, once that's all in process, you get on the market, you go under contract. Once you're in contract, you get that closed, and boom, right? We start the cycle all over again. So the final segment of the database is that the sales pipeline. And at this point of the model, right, we use prospecting and marketing, lead gen activities to bring leads and contacts into the database. Okay, we've worked both segments of the database through touch campaigns to stay top of mind and have conversions, right? Now, as we have conversions and deepen relationships with our leads and contacts that will raise your hand to do business with, for us to do business with. At that point, a leader or contact enters the final phase in the lead generation model, the sales pipeline, starting with step 4 is what we discussed. And to cultivate those leads and contacts, the ultimate goal is to win the appointment that will launch them into a new goal of closed transactions. In Command KW, you've developed smart plans, or if you have them, whatever CRM you're using, and you'll automate the way in which you'll cultivate and stay in communication. In just a minute, right? Or not just a minute, because we're not going to be doing this, but typically if you wanted to, you can go into Command and you can see there's some videos there too on YouTube and how you can use the smart plans to generate that, right? To stay in communication, or if you're using Lines Desk, whatever drip campaigns you have in there and other things of that nature. Now the the transaction progresses through the appointment to active or to under contract and to close, and it'll also mirror those steps from the model of command. So command also has certain capabilities as you're also in different segments that you could start different types of campaigns. Whoops. I have certain things that I do, not through command, but I have my VA. You know, they'll update my clients. They'll have a beginning of the week, end of the week report, stuff like that. There are things you can do that if you start a campaign, let's say, hey, we just opened escrow, right? So week 1, this is what you can expect. Week 2, this is what you can expect. Week 3, this is what you can expect. And it's kind of cool because you give people kind of like an idea of, you know, what to look forward to, and it keeps them more calm. They kind of feel like they're being left in the dark. Sometimes we could explain things, but it's kind of cool to just send them a little quick thing like, hey, this is what you can expect that's going to happen this week, right? Certain contracts might be a little different. I know these days we're shortening all kinds of contingencies and all kinds of things. So, you know, you can keep up with those things too if you choose. But yeah, so there's a lot of things that go on with that. And based on what we're seeing here, what are some of the ahas you guys are kind of getting from the cultivating process here? Are you guys getting no ahas? Do you guys understand why we have to cultivate at this point?
Yes. So my aha with the cultivating is, you know, it's important, especially nowadays, to develop a relationship with your leads, your prospect, your clients. I think especially now that will differentiate us between, you know, maybe like a Zillow or an iBuyer or a Redfin agent. And then on top of that, just utilizing smart plans or whatever smart auto plan feature you have in your database to help simplify and save time. So you're not, you know, busy trying to struggle like, oh, what should I do today? And spend time wasting trying to figure what to do.
Right. Absolutely. I think you said it best. At the end of the day, relationships is key. And right now, that's not just with your clients, it's with other fellow agents, right? Because we have such low inventory out there. Cultivating your relationships on all aspects right now is key, because without them, the business is just that much more harder, right? So as new agents, I do want to kind of give you guys a little tip right now. The more networking you're doing with agents today, the better and the more stable your business will get in this kind of climate, in this kind of market. Now, we know that, you know, real estate cycles, and we will see these markets again where inventory will get low, just as we'll see, you know, where inventory will rise eventually as well, right? We don't know when exactly, but it will. But right now, think about it. You're cultivating clients, right? And you got to cultivate agents, because when you do have clients, your agents that you've cultivated those relationships with are people that might be on the other end of that transaction, or might be more receptive to doing business with you as well. Because let's face it, inventory is low. 50 offers are coming in for each one of these, you know, listings that are popping up. So how are you generating your business, right? What's your connection with these other agents to give you a better chance and your clients a better chance of getting these offers accepted, right? So I think the key word there was relationships. And I think right now that goes through and through clients, agents, or anything. It's not so much being transactional these days. So don't worry so much about, you know, I guess hitting a bunch of numbers, which, you know, you want to measure that, but I would say be purposeful with establishing the relationships with clients. And that's a big part of this today, you know, both sides of the spectrum here. Awesome. Let's move forward. So, this right here covers smart plans, right? As we can see within here, it's just the different drips that you can get, right? Quarterly call plans, bi-weekly neighborhood nurtures. You can get midterm nurtures, long-term nurture, 8x8 engagement. 8x8s are typically used for new contacts, people you don't know. So for you to establish yourself as top of mind with somebody that you don't know and you never met before and actually made an initial contact with, you put them on an 8x8 to cement that relationship initially. So these are the types of things you could do with smart plans. And that's pretty much 8 touches in 8 weeks. So it's like a touch a week. It could be a call. It could be a handwritten note. It could be a text message. It could be various things, but you want to have a plan on how to establish that. So, running your smart plans, which I know is probably not set up like this in other platforms. I know LinesDesk does have some things built in it as well. But, you want to find out what that is in your CRM and make sure you have those things implemented. But other than that, we're kind of coming towards the end here. Right. So I wanted to ask you guys, what are some of the things that you've got from today's class that you think you can implement and put into action?
Mine is to lead gen consistently.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Eddie, mine is, I remember when I joined KW Lamrata, it took me a whole week to start my database. So, and I was a paper girl. I kind of still am, but it's been a transition. So if anyone is new and starting to start their database, it's so important to have it set up. And then that way, everything else should be a little bit easier.
Yep. I agree.
Eddie, this is my second command meeting, and I appreciate your taking the time to explain all this. And it's starting to get some traction. I know what I can do when I get to log in and entering my stuff. It's just going to be a little more comfortable.
Awesome. Anybody else? Thanks for sharing, by the way. All of you guys, appreciate that. Anyone else got anything? Let me get 1 or 2 more people just kind of share what they'll implement, and then we'll move on from here. Get the ball rolling for you guys. We'll be out of here a little early today. Nothing? All right. So let me just wrap it up for you guys. Ultimately, everything we covered today comes down to, your lead gen, creating the base, the top of your funnel. You want to understand, in a nutshell, prospecting versus marketing. And then you want to get those leads or contacts, right? We established what leads are and what contacts are. We want to take those and we want to put them in our database. And once we get them in our database, we want to make sure that information is accurate and complete, which is a huge piece. There's a large percentage of people, by the way, who have information in their database that's missing critical pieces like the actual physical address, right? Majority of people have like name, number, email. But when you're missing the physical address, it kind of doesn't really help the AI out in terms of like the neighborhoods and the different things that Command can do in terms of having the physical address in to create the one-to-one user experience. So the one thing I do appreciate about Command, and I'll say this, that I'm waiting as it's developing, and I do think it'll get better with it, and it has been. But why I'm not so into it yet, but I'm excited about eventually getting into it, is because it is going to give our clients a one-to-one user experience. It already does that through neighborhoods. And what I mean by that is your Amazon, your Netflix is going to be different than mine, right? The artificial intelligence that's built into the database portion or the entire system in itself allows the system to automate certain things that track the behavior of our clients as we get them inputted in and start them on like neighborhood campaigns, right? As they click on certain properties or look at certain properties, it's going to identify those things. And I think that that's super awesome. So there is some proprietary things that's super cool about the technology that's in there, and utilizing that midsection of the funnel and your database and taking care of it and feeding it every day is crucial. And of course, that's where we'll generate enough people as we fill up our pipeline that are raising enough hands and saying, hey, I want to do business with you, or let's, you know what, now I'm ready, or you've been contacting me for 3 years, but I didn't need anything before, but now I do. When can we meet? So that stuff just helps you out. So imagine, you know, you're just out there, you're prospecting, you're doing some marketing, you're funneling all this stuff. You're getting some business today from doing the activities, which is great. And the business you got today was probably from what you were doing 3 months ago. But as you start doing that and you're filling your pipeline up, and the systems in your database, as they start to generate more hands being raised, that's where you get that consistency in your business. That's where you're kind of not, you know, being on the real estate roller coaster, as we call it, where you're kind of just like up, down, up, down. Oh man, I closed 4 deals this month, but I'm like on a 3-month dry spell. I haven't closed anything. And then boom, all of a sudden you got another 4 that come up. You know, the idea is, how can you fill in each month consistently? And as new agents, I always tell people or coach them in the sense of getting them to get to 2 transactions a month. I think if you guys just get to 2 transactions a month consistently, you really set yourself up with a lot of flexibility. You set yourself up with some options. And the best part about it is you got yourself consistent business coming in month in, month out. And I think that's what it takes to establish yourself and become full-time. Because I know sometimes people aren't full-time, and I understand that as well. But to not just be full-time, but to also know that you have a consistent model that's running your business. And then once you got enough people raising their hand that they're ready to go, you're good, right? And you're going to start tracking that. And another reason why you track in the cultivating stage as well, when people are raising their hands and you are going on appointments, you want to see how many contacts does it take for you to get to appointments? How many appointments does it take for you to get to an actual contract? And how many contracts are you taking to close? Because they're not going to be 100% through and through, right? So if I know I need to close, you know, if I need to, you know, close 2 contracts, I know I probably need to go on at least, you know, 4 appointments, right? So if I want to close, you know, get 2 contracts, that would put me at a 50% conversion rate. Sometimes you get 3, which is great, you know, but let's just say, you know, you're at a 50% conversion rate. So now, you know, consistently, you got to go on 4 appointments to get 2 contracts. And you know, out of those 2 contracts, most likely once they're in, you know, hopefully they close. Sometimes they don't, but at least, you know, you'll get 1 that will, right? So you want to think like that. You want to think about what your conversion rates, and you're going to know that by measuring. So there are more pieces to the puzzle as we progress in our journey here with Ignite. This is kind of just the beginning of it, but it's kind of an important piece. I know for some of you, this is some basic stuff, but you know, these are the things that we need to remind ourselves all the time, because there's a lot of the new that comes out that distract us. But the reality is, this is the stuff that's going to get you, you know, going where you need to go in your business. And that's keeping up with your lead gen, making sure you're feeding your database, and generating a proper pipeline that's giving you business and people raising their hands, so that you're closing a consistent level of transactions to fund, grow, and scale your business. Cool. So those are my kind of closing statements to wrap up all of today. If nobody has anything else they'd like to share at this point, we are all good. And we'll end today's session. You guys good?
Just want to say thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. It was very informative.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate you
Thank
guys
you.
all for being on. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out, and we'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks.